Hey, it's Vanessa, and welcome back to Born to Build the New. In today's episode, we are talking about rewilding your business. I'll be sharing 5 specific ways you can bring the energy of rewilding into your business that evokes vitality and aliveness, not just in your daily to-dos, but in your overall vision of where you're headed and what you'd like to create and the impact you'd love to make with your business. As always, love to introduce myself. I'm Vanessa Smith, host of Born to Build the New, an energy guide and identity seer. And I'm here standing with the new paradigm builders, the ones using their businesses as a vehicle for collective change. They're taking a stance for building something new, something more holistic, something that supports life. I'm going to stop there and get off my soapbox and go into the details of rewilding your business and what that means. So let's start first with this concept of rewilding. A few years back, I took on the identity of rewilding Vanessa. And the story that goes with it is that I moved to France and I fell in love with a forest. And that started the beginning of my rewilding adventure. It's taken me some time to unpack what that means for me specifically and how I can apply it to the context of my business. Now, you've probably heard me talk about natural rhythm and building your business or your purpose work based on your natural rhythm, that's what we're meant to be doing. And that in and of itself is a paradigm shift, right? A paradigm is simply a model. It's how we operate. It's how we view the world. It's the rules that we think we're supposed to be living by. And right now we're in a shift. People are really exploring, hey, wait a minute, there's another way to do this. There's another way to do healthcare or economy or business or our work in general, right? We're education, just across the board. We're in this time where we're asking bigger questions. And I had been sitting with the energy of rewilding around my business. How can I incorporate more of this energy for me into my business, and what does it mean? And so in that exploration, I came up with 5 creative, fun ways to start playing with the energy of rewilding in your business. And that's what I'll be sharing with you in today's episode. So rewilding can mean, as you've just heard, many different things for many different people, but essentially I'd like to define it as getting back to your nature, your true nature, via nature. So nature is this medium, this relationship that we have, and really a reflection or a mirror of ourselves. We are also nature. We're not just a part of nature. We are an extension of it in our cute little human avatars, walking around probably overthinking a whole lot of stuff that we don't need to be. And the more time and energy that we invest in not just being immersed in nature, but noticing nature around us, noticing it in our environment, within our house, right outside where you live, in front of the grocery store, it's everywhere. And it has its own consciousness, its own energy, and we are always interacting with it. We just often ignore it. And there's something really enlivening and alchemical that happens when you start interacting with nature more intentionally. There's a philosophy called animism, which is essentially holding that all nature, animals, plants, they have their own consciousness. They have their own, I find them to be more like personalities. You can absolutely call it consciousness, but they feel like their own distinct personalities to me. And the more that you start to interact with them, the more that this will begin to stand out to you. Anyhow, when it comes to your business, there's a couple of different ways that I found to be really effective to rewild it. The first one is one that I've mentioned previously, probably in every podcast episode I do, and it has to do with your natural rhythm. So there is a way that your energy naturally flows. It's how you work best. Natural rhythm doesn't mean you need to be a barefoot hippie out like doing your work in the backyard unless that's something that suits you. What it could look like is just noticing how your energy moves throughout the day. This is working by your natural rhythm. Some people I know have always struggled, and sometimes this would apply to myself as well, with how to structure your day. Like, do I follow the Pomodoro method? Do I time block? Do I put everything in a calendar? There's all of these different more mental focused ways or logical thinky type of ways to structure your day. But when you start intentionally structuring it by your natural rhythm, there's a different kind of flow to it. Everybody chases this flow state, but then we completely ignore our natural rhythm, which is kind of dumb, actually. So what you do to get in tune with your natural rhythm is start noticing, when do you have the most energy in terms of overall vitality? When do you have the most creative flow or creative output? When do you want to move your body the most? All of these questions are going to point to your natural rhythm. Like I've noticed for myself, I feel tremendously better if I get up at 5 a.m. I don't always get up at 5 a.m., but I feel a lot better when I actually do. And I'll do, a bit of a morning routine of certain stretches and certain food that I eat and a little bit of writing. But usually after that's been set into place, I have a big burst of energy where I can focus really intently on work, like between 5:30 and 7:30 when no one else is awake yet, or I don't really need to interact with my family at that point. It has produced a lot of results for me in terms of completing things, in terms of clarity around what I'm doing next, all of the business pieces that we need to tend to, even from an operational back-end perspective where we need to organize or set systems up within our business. All of that comes through quite cleanly for me early in the morning. But for the longest time, I had in my mind, even though I've never worked corporate, is that I work 9 to 5. I don't know why I overlaid that on top of my workday, but I did. So I'd start working at 9, but 9 is when I want to go for a walk. That's when I fizzle out. The small amount of times where I've worked for other people and I've had to start at a 9 a.m., I notice that my focus is fuzzy. I can't really lock in on anything. It takes me like a good hour to get going. I feel like I'm wasting my time. And so I've noticed that if I just rearrange based on my actual rhythm, the actual way that my energy flows, that I get so much more done. And I no longer feel like I'm trying to force myself into a box that doesn't fit how my energy works, how I work best. That's the first way that you can bring rewilding into your daily business doings, is to notice how your natural rhythm flows. Because oftentimes we put off. Like sometimes I used to say, oh, I'll go for a walk first. That's the best way to start my day, right? Like thinking that was correct. But in reality, my energy wants to work first. I want to work and then I want to go for a walk. But we tend to put off the things that are easiest or the things that are enjoyable. Oh, I get to do this enjoyable thing once I've done blah, 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 right? But if that's not how your energy works, maybe your energy works best if you play first or if you do something pleasurable. You have the leeway. It's your life. It's your time. It's your business. Obviously, if you work for somebody else and there's an expectation there, if that works for you, great. And it's all good. But if you have been noticing that your body or your mind doesn't feel as clear, it's feeling more stagnant or stuck, it's probably because you're not operating from how you work best, from how your natural rhythm flows. So that's the first one of incorporating rewilding into your business. The second piece also has to do with the structuring of your day, of your time, and of your energy. And while I'm sure you logically know it's good to take movement breaks throughout your day, I know how easy it is to get caught up in a creative project. Next thing you know, you've been sitting there for 3 hours or even longer. I once had said every hour on the hour, get up and move. Like just walk around, do something. And I noticed that I couldn't stick with it. It didn't land for me, even though I thought that I was rewilding. This goes back to how your body wants to move. Now, if we bring nature into this, because again, our bodies are extensions of nature, nature is very high and it's also very low. And I mean in terms of height. When you look up at a tree, it's tall, right? And then the ground is very low. So the more that you move your body in accordance to how nature moves, like stretching up really tall like a tree or reaching for the sky, and then getting really low to the ground. Sometimes I will get off of my computer, come outside, and I'll just lay on my belly on the grass with my head turned to one side. And that is a massive reset. That's a great way to rewild your business in that moment. So high and low movement. And I recommend every 30 minutes if you can. 30 minutes on the hour or 90 minutes, but don't go more than 90 without having some very high and very low movement, because that middle way, that stance of just sitting in the same position, you start to develop these postural habits that can just disrupt your overall well-being. So that's tip number 2, high and low movement. Tip number 3 for bringing in rewilding is to energy scan what you're doing. So whether that's what you're doing, who you're being, and who you're connected to. Actually, I would throw those three pieces into the mix. And by energy scan, you don't have to get super complicated with it. I mean, I can get very detailed into it because that's how I orient, is through the lens of energy. But you can simply do it with brightness. So if you're looking at your to-do list, ask, show me the energy of where I need to direct my attention right now. And then 1 or 2 things on that to-do list will become brighter for you. We know by default generally what we avoid and what we need to tend to. But when you ask it through the lens of energy, there's something that activates within your system. It's something that connects you to more of the energetic aspects of your being. It connects you to the underlying energy dynamics around the task itself. You just start operating more from a multidimensional landscape versus your human, stuck, resistant, procrastinating, overthinking type of self who's looking at a to-do list and feeling very overwhelmed. So energy scanning your to-do list is another way to bring rewilding in. It's very easy to think of rewilding as being in nature, but I was discovering for myself recently, actually it was earlier today, because I've been thinking obsessively around rewilding and what it means to me. And I realized that nature is just the medium for me to get more attuned to my own energy, to be moving through the world through that energetic lens, navigating what's in front of me through my energy read versus my logical reaction or my emotional reaction, because we know what that's like. We can overthink something and then procrastinate on it, or we see something that has happened and have a big emotional reaction to it and then not want to do anything because we're so in our big feelings about it. You know what I mean? Like, it can stop you from doing all the business things that you know that you need to. But there's this beautiful neutrality that takes place when you're operating from an energetic perspective. Rewilding isn't just about go touch a flower. Yes, by all means, but it's the larger context of what that's connected to. For me, the way I'm framing it is it really is the bridge to start to live more by your energy and your intuition. So you can use this energy scanning technique for your own body, your own identity, how you're showing up. You can scan and say, okay, which version of myself is running my business right now? Close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, you're like, oh, my inner resistant teenager is running the show right now with my business. That's not going to get me very far. You can do this with the contacts or the connections you have. We know what it's like to be in the wrong room or to be in conversations with, not the wrong room, but not aligned. You know what I mean? Like, you have a coffee chat. Yeah, this is not clicking. Sometimes it really clicks and it's great. So you probably know the difference between those two. Before you ever get to the point of being in the room or meeting with the person, whether it's a colleague or a collaborator or a client, do an energy scan. Tune in. Is it aligned for you? I'm learning this one big time at the moment. So I highly encourage all my people to do that as well. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is asking, what season or cycle is my business currently in? Because we are cyclical beings. And we forget that we live seasonally. Even if we're paying attention to how the seasons are changing, whatever season we're in right now, it's an interesting point of view to ask yourself and to look at your business through the lens of seasonality, through the lens of cycles. Right now, my business feels like it's in spring. There's a lot of seeds that I'm planting, and I can see some of the growth taking place with them. I sense there's deeper roots extending down right now, but it feels very close to summer. It feels close to harvest time, even though I'm not completely in harvest time yet. As you start to see that, you move out of the phase of, oh, I'm a beginner, or, oh, I'm rebranding, or, oh, there's this business terminology we can judge ourselves on. Like, I've been in this field forever, but now I feel like I'm starting all over again. I know I've certainly had that thought because I've had a business in some form or fashion in the transformational healing space for over 2 decades. And yet the approach that I'm giving it at this moment feels more like I'm starting over in some ways. And I have to remind myself that I'm not a beginner, and even if I was, it was okay. It's good to have a beginner's mind. But when I think of it in terms of seasons and cycles, that feels more organic. It feels more alive. And it also feels in some ways less cyclical, or less sequential and more spiral. There's just more of an organic feel to it. So that's tip number 4. And then the very last one I'd like to leave you with is more of a fantastical approach to rewilding your business. It falls a bit more under the animism category. And this is what I like to call calling counsel. It's like having your own board of directors for your business, but you're going to do it with nature. This starts to bring the world around you to life in a new way. So instead of asking ChatGPT another question or having it try and work out your business plan, go talk to a tree. Go talk to the bush. Go notice how something is growing out in nature and see how you can map that pattern or process over your business. You'll start to develop a kinship and a preference with certain aspects of nature. Like for me, I feel really drawn to moss. I really like moss. Moss feels very alive to me. Even when it's the dry season and it's really dry, it's like it carpets the trees, and I feel so much more alive when I connect with moss. And so I can bring my business conundrums to the moss, ask for its wisdom. And before you ask me, well, what if I'm just making up what it's saying? Who cares? Does it help you? Does it help you access a different part of your creative brain to move your business forward? Great. So whether you are in the camp of belief that each part of nature has its own personality and its own wisdom to share with you, and you have a relationship with it, or you're in the camp of, I'm just making it up. If it works, do it. What have you got to lose? So call counsel with your nature board of directors and see what comes through and how that can shape your business with rewilding. All of these tips that I've shared with you today around rewilding your business is not only going to bring a sense of aliveness and vitality to your daily tasks, it's also going to light up your vision in a different way, because humans are so habitual with the stories that we tell ourselves, whether they're stories of limitation and fear, or they're stories of big, grand visions that we want to create. The thing is, the visions evolve as we evolve, and we are always evolving. We're always transforming, expanding our perspective. Whatever vision you've been holding, you want to check in and see what's still true. What's true for me now? Where do I feel called to take this? And how can I bring more of a wildness to it, an aliveness to it, a rewilding perspective or approach? You'll notice that as you ask those questions, the vision will start to morph, and new synchronicities, new people, new opportunities will begin to enter into your reality. That's what we're really after here. Not just the impact, not just the income, but the sense of aliveness and the intricacy of the web of life coming to life, like coming to life in your daily reality of building your business, of building your purpose work. That's what rewilding does. So try it out. Play with it. See how it shifts and expands your experience of building what you're here for. And if you would like some support, whether that's through my DIY courses, which I have over 10, my Energy Guide certification program, or one-on-one support, just go to my website, vasmith.com, see what's available for you. You can certainly email me. We can have a short conversation around what would be best for you at this point in the build. With that, signing off, and look forward to being back again on Born to Build the New. Take care.